God knows. Who else needs to know? It doesn't matter. And it's wrong. However, who knows about it is me and God.
I'm Susan Goss, and as a seasoned therapist of more than 15 years, I'm honored to have had the opportunity to gain so much wisdom from so many people and love passing that knowledge on to others. So join me and some of my favorite friends as we share some tangible truths with you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Tangible Truth Podcast. We are so excited to have you join us again. We are on a roll with God in the workplace with Angie Elrod joining us from Conway, Arkansas. Hi, Angie.
Hi, Susan. Hi, listeners.
Well, we are going to jump right on in. Listen, if you've not heard episode 1 and or 2, please go back and listen. We really got into some stuff, especially last episode, so you don't want to miss out on that. So where we left off is an interesting spot. We said, what if you are completely bypassed, let's say on a promotion that you thought, hey, I'm fixing to get a promotion, but Sally got it instead, or maybe John Doe got it. And it's almost this feeling about, well, what about me? What happened to me? You know, when that happens, what goes on in your heart? What goes on in the workplace? If we are to be light in a workplace, what's a proper response? It can get complicated really fast, right?
Oh, yeah.
That can get complicated because you can get really angry. That is a option. You can get really, really down and depressed. You can get really jealous. It can cause tensions between colleagues. What do you think, Angie?
Well, I think it's hard to be overlooked.
Oh, man.
It's, to be overlooked and not recognized. Let's just be real and say that's very difficult.
It's very, very difficult, especially when you're up next.
You feel like you've earned that spot and, that you're qualified and that your work has shown, that you're capable of doing it. And then, this really, we've had a conversation about this recently. This is one of those times where you're very vulnerable and the enemy can just jump right in and get in, just you start having thoughts. And like we had talked about, you said to me, that is not the voice of Jesus talking. That's not the voice that you usually listen to. And that's just flat out the enemy. You're buying into it. And so I think that it would be a really important time to shore up your prayer life, your just curiosity, and to work through it with the Lord on the side and with your trusted loved ones too, because you're going to be very vulnerable at a time like that. You could easily get down on yourself or, believe things that aren't true about what it means.
Right. And I think it is very wise to be with the Lord, be with trusted friends, and what is true here in this, in a situation, and what is not true would be very, very important to process. What is true, what is not true. And it may require checking it out. Like, I thought I was up next. You may have to be curious with whatever situation that you're in, because all situations are different. Can't compare apples to oranges in any company or any whatever. But you find out a lot about yourself in situations like that too. So there are a lot of different things going on spiritually and emotionally when something like that happens. But what does not help, we all know, is total anger. Jealousy takes you down a road you don't want to go. And this is a great time to talk about staying in your lane. What is your lane like? And when a friend gets or a colleague gets promoted and you don't, what is your response going to be? Do you say, listen, congratulations, whoever? Do you say congratulations and you stay in your lane and still do the very best you can with excellence? And then you become curious, like I said, at that time with the company, with whatever. And in due time, if that does not happen and you don't move up or whatever, what do you do? Do you move forward? If you're not moving forward, why? Are you curious? Or, as I said, everything's different. But for you and God, if you and God are good, your plumb line is good, your lane has got to be really, really good. And if you can be happy for your colleague, you remain healthy. If you cannot be happy for a colleague, then that's where the enemy can jump in. Like, of course they got it. And of course you didn't because you're not worthy or what. That's where the lies come in that we tell ourselves.
Well, I completely agree. And I think for me, in situations like that or similar to that, I always have to work through my pride issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big ding right there. And pride just comes in all the time for me. I hate to say, but you can even be, this is related to work. You might have a group of friends or a prayer group or whatever, some kind of group of friends that you pray for your adult children. And yours is the one that doesn't get the job, and the others are constantly talking about what their adult children are doing in that direction, which is not the case for me. Both of my kids are employed, but that's hard when
Yeah.
you or your adult children are the ones that don't receive the promotion. And I think I'm rambling about that, but anyway, I just think it's even harder when you watch it in your kids.
100%. I agree. I think pride is a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever been in this situation? I've been in this situation, and pride really came up. I think everybody has a pride issue. I really do. If they say they don't, they really do. But there have been several situations with me where someone, I have done all the work and somebody else takes the credit. Okay. So when that has happened, that was like, oh, that's that's my. So to me, it may be true what they did, but I had a choice right then to either make a deal out of it, because at first that does hurt. And yes, that is prideful in a little bit, but it does hurt that somebody your stuff and claims it as their own. Matter of fact, that's happened a lot. I mean, several times. But what I have come to realize, and with God, again, I say, if you're good with God in the workplace, and actually, this happened years ago with my mother, who did not tell me, who's passed. She did not tell me for years, but she told me this one time, and I'll never forget it, who then told her mother, my grandmother, who said back to her, but God knows. God knows. Who else needs to know? It doesn't matter. Mary is my mother's name for the listeners. And my grandmother, when she said that to my mother, and then mother passed that on to me, and that just rang really true to me. It's the saying that I always pass on to my clients. You have to choose between being right and the relationship. And I'm going to go with relationship every time. And it is true what they did, and it's wrong. I know that. However, who knows about it is me and God. And that's enough. I'm not going to make a deal out of it. And
Yes.
And so that has everything to do. We're talking about, our last episode was talking about being light in the workplace. I think that is a wonderful example about being light for you personally. You can turn around and be light to others when you don't make a deal, when you just keep your head, forward. You do your work as unto the Lord. When things happen, there are some things that absolutely have to be addressed, but you have to ask God which hill you're willing to die on.
Mm-hmm.
Which hill you're willing to die on, and He will guide that.
Tell us again, what did Mimi tell your mother?
When Mother told her what happened at her university, that somebody took credit for Mother's work, and that wasn't right, and she was going to go. Mother was going to make a thing out of it. Amy said, I would not do that, Mary. And she said, but nobody's going to know that. And she said, nobody's going to know that's all my work.
Mm.
And Mimi said, God knows. God knows, Mary. And Mother didn't.
Yeah, and who else needs to know?
And
Is
who?
that?
And
I
who?
love that.
Yes, I did too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's so, because it's hurtful, and it's an untrue. It's a lie that the person is telling, that I did this.
Right.
But taking the high road, Mimi had it right.
Yeah, what she was saying to her, it is plagiarism, is what it was.
Okay.
And on her account and on my account, but it is what it is. And you can make a big deal out of it. It could come back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be a fight. You know what I mean? Like he said, she said. Do you want to get in the middle of that? And God knows.
Yes.
And Mother let it go, as did I.
I love that. I just love that saying. Who else needs to know?
Uh-huh. Yes. And that was so freeing, because as a human, you want to go, ugh, like, I've worked so hard. That's all. We're just prideful. Like you said, it's always boils down to pride. Everything boils down to pride. When you really shake a stick at it, it boils down to pride. And we're talking about real nitty gritty stuff here, but people work, you get in the nitty gritty.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. But it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you always, in my experience, you always draw closer to God in the nitty gritty when you allow Him to work in you and you release all this to Him. When I take over, it never goes well. When I release to God and let Him take over, oh my gosh, I learned so many lessons. When I take over, He allows me every time to suffer the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's like He yells at me, or He doesn't yell ever, but it's like He says with a megaphone, see what that's like when you take over?
It's true. Well, and we want to defend ourselves. We want to defend ourselves and straighten out the truth. And that's just our nature. But wow, what a defender and redeemer He will be for us if we just keep our head forward, like you said, and stay in our lane.
Yes.
Release it to Him.
Yes. Release it to Him.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Like I said, every experience draws us closer to Him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Angie, one more episode, because Carrie's cut us off for this one too. But one more episode that will talk about some really, really delightful things. God allows us to suffer consequences, but when we do release control to Him, we're going to talk about what happens. So, listeners, stay tuned. Thank you. We love you.
Thanks for listening to the Tangible Truth Podcast, part of the KLRC Podcast Network.